Before my college entrance exam, my mom insisted that I donate a kidney to my cousin Cindy. When I refused, she berated me, saying, "You're as strong as an ox, you can still take the exam after donating. Cindy is dying, donating a kidney to her would be your way of making amends." My mom blamed me for not protecting Cindy well enough, though she didn't know that I had already died. According to the system, if I received a sincere birthday wish from Sarah on my 18th birthday, I could continue living. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. My mom always said I was healthy, so she might as well see me die under her scalpel, seeing the decay of my organs for herself. "Cindy's kidney match with you is successful, and donating one would be your way of making amends," she said as I set down my backpack, shocked. "But my college entrance exams are coming up." Sarah continued serving Cindy food without glancing at me. "You're strong, donating a kidney is no big deal. You can take the exam afterward." I sighed. "The teacher said the exams are critical, let's wait until they're over." Unexpectedly, she slapped me across the face, her hand making a sharp sound upon contact. "Cindy is dying, and you still want to delay. She's your cousin, and yet you do nothing to help. How could I have raised such a heartless creature?" Holding my cheek, which swelled up like a small hill, I felt isolated. Cindy, who had been fostered in our home since childhood due to her congenital kidney disease, was treated in Sarah's hospital. In this home, they were the real family, and I was treated like an outsider. Like now, as Cindy sat next to my mom, gently saying, "Auntie, don't be angry. If my cousin doesn't want to donate, it's okay, I can wait. It's okay if I can't make it, I'll get to see my parents in heaven sooner." Cindy's frail demeanor almost brought Sarah to tears. "Silly child, with your aunt here, nothing will happen to you, otherwise, how could I face your parents?" Her gaze then hardened as she looked at me. "Whether you agree or not, you must come to the hospital for the surgery on May 20th, otherwise, don't bother returning home." She was fierce, but seemed to forget that May 19th was my birthday. My heart felt as cold and painful as if it had plummeted into ice. "Do I have to donate?" I asked. She crisply replied, "You must." I gave a bitter smile. "Fine, but on one condition. You must perform the surgery yourself." If my life was given by her, then she should be the one to take it back. That satisfied her, and confidently, she agreed. In reality, I had died long ago. 2 years earlier, Cindy and I were on our way to school when we were involved in a car accident. I shielded her immediately, sparing her from the impact, but she fainted, while I was unharmed and even managed to call an ambulance. When Sarah arrived, she barely gave me a glance before rushing Cindy into the emergency room. When a colleague asked her whether I should also be taken in the ambulance, she said it wasn't necessary. "She's faking it, look at her, lively as a dragon. Does she look like she needs to go to the hospital? She just wants to skip school," she said. Sarah is a doctor, so when she said I was fine, I believed her. It was only later that I learned that the person who appears unharmed in an accident is often the most seriously injured. I continued going to school, but I fainted right at the school gate. As I was on the brink of death, I heard a voice. It said that if I could receive my mother's sincere blessing on my 18th birthday, I would survive. Naively, I thought this was a sure bet. However, I never celebrated another birthday because my birthday was the day Cindy had her car accident. Sarah, fearing it would bring back bad memories for Cindy, deliberately ignored it. I expressed my displeasure during the first ignored birthday, only to be scolded harshly by her. "How dare you mention your birthday? If you had really killed Cindy, how would I face your uncle? Never mention your birthday again, so Cindy won't be scared." Got it. From that day, I realized I might not live to see 18. I wonder how she would scold me the day I die. As soon as I stepped out of the school, I was cornered in an alley by some people wielding sticks, glaring at me with bad intentions and silently directing me to a corner. The bullies from my class would beat me up whenever they felt upset, but I wasn't always this weak. The first time I was bullied was when Cindy spread rumors that I was seducing the class's top student, and I was ambushed by the class queen who also had a crush on him. I was beaten black and blue by her clique and ran home to tell Sarah. Sarah took me back to school to demand compensation. Initially, she was furious, asking me to lift my shirt to show the teachers my bruises, but by then, my bruises had healed so quickly that there was nothing to show. The atmosphere shifted abruptly, and Sarah, who had been demanding compensation, suddenly became defensive. after a moment of shock, she dragged me out of the classroom and scolded me fiercely. Great. You've learned to lie at such a young age, making me lose face. Why can't you be obedient like Cindy? Stop causing trouble for me, will you? My quick healing was a system benefit, meant to be settled after my tasks were completed, but to Sarah, it became a reason to harm me recklessly, even without visible bruises. A look at the surveillance would have shown that I wasn't lying, but she stubbornly thought I was inferior to Cindy, that I was a disgraceful liar. From then on, the bullying intensified, my limbs were broken, healed, and then broken again. In a never-ending cycle, my ribs were broken countless times, too many to count. I sought help everywhere, but no one believed me. Gradually, I lost the ability to seek help and accepted the beatings as part of my daily life, finding solace amidst agony. As I was being hit, Cindy laughed mischievously. Don't hit her kidneys. She's supposed to donate one to me. Don't damage it. The newcomer, afraid I might tell my parents, hesitated to strike. Cindy pushed them aside, remaining composed. Don't worry, her mom won't care. I'm not sure how long the beating went on. By the time they left, it was already dark, and my bruises had somehow faded back to normal. I expertly stuffed my dirty clothes into my backpack and changed into my performance outfit. Every Friday, I perform at a bar to earn some pocket money, holding my guitar on stage. As the spotlight hit me, it felt like my own personal haven, a place to forget all the pain. Just as I was about to start singing, I spotted Cindy. She was raising her glass, toasting with the same group that had hit me earlier under the enchanting bar lights. Cindy, I thought you had kidney disease. Is it okay for you to drink? Cindy downed her drink in one gulp and slammed the glass down. It's fine, I've got someone to donate a kidney. What's there to worry about? Besides, if my kidney disease wasn't serious, why would my aunt rush to get Freya to donate hers? I want her to realize that in our family, she's less than nothing. Not even her own mother will protect her. The guitar string broke. I rushed off the stage and smashed the wine glass in Cindy's hand, grabbing her collar fiercely. Do you have any idea how worried my mom has been about you? She bought you a whole cabinet of skincare products, looked into all sorts of treatments, and cooked for you every day because she was worried about you eating unclean food. And this is how you repay her. Cindy hadn't expected to run into me here and was momentarily flustered. She pushed me away and sneered menacingly. What's it to you? Just obediently donate your kidney to me, or else I'll make sure you regret it. Unfortunately for her, she could only be promised a kidney that was long dead. I stared at Cindy and warned, aren't you afraid I'll tell my mom, no matter what? I am her biological daughter. If she finds out you did this intentionally, do you think she'll still indulge you? Cindy's face changed color. The next second, under the colorful lights of the bar, she laughed wickedly. Let's see who she believes first. Then she took out her phone and dialed Sarah's number. As soon as the call connected, Cindy burst into tears, her voice trembling. Auntie, my cousin tricked me into coming to this bar and forced me to drink. I'm so scared. Please come save me. Before Sarah could respond, Cindy smashed her phone on the ground and stomped on it. The evil smile returned to her face. Cousin, when Auntie arrives, who do you think she'll believe, you or me? Cindy won. When Sarah saw her crying pitifully and rushing into her arms, I didn't even get a chance to explain. Sarah slapped me right away. She grabbed my hair and dragged me outside, forcibly tearing off my performance outfit. Freya, oh Freya, I've raised you with so much difficulty, and this is how you repay me. Why can't you learn to be good, always having to be like your father, hanging out in bars at such a young age, getting involved in messy relationships? Are you trying to kill me with worry? What has Cindy ever done to you that you keep trying to harm her? The slaps rained down on me, causing my cheeks and lips to swell, making me look like a crushed toad. Finally, Sarah threw me to the ground, causing my knees to bleed. She saw it but didn't care, and even tried to continue hitting me. I suddenly cried out, struggling to get up and shouting at her, Mom, I'm your biological daughter. Why won't you believe me? I've been singing here to earn money and have never been involved in those messy things. I had never lied. But Cindy, the real liar, hid behind Sarah, smiling at me. Then, she tugged at Sarah's sleeve, pretending to be scared and trembling. Auntie, my cousin is so fierce. I'm scared. Sarah's anger peaked again, and she took my beloved guitar and smashed it on the ground. You're underage. Who would believe you're here to earn money? Is this a place for girls? I didn't back down, mustering all my strength to defend myself. I may be underage, but I'm already 17 years old and can earn my own money. But it was as if she hadn't heard me at all, obsessively accusing me. You really embarrass me. How did I ever give birth to such an indecent daughter? She forcefully dragged me away. Unaware that my hand, prone to fractures, was already broken, I endured the pain, tears in my eyes, and said to her, "Mom, do you know, I'm dying." The response came in Sarah's indifferent voice. "Stop pretending, I'm a doctor. Don't I know how well you are? Cindy is the one who's really dying. If you keep being unreasonable, don't ever come back, just rot in a bar." Saying this, she tenderly took Cindy's hand. "Cindy, let's go home. Don't let your cousin lead you astray." Cindy leaned into Sarah's embrace and gave me a triumphant smile. I stood alone at the doorway, bathed in the cold moonlight. After what felt like an eternity, someone tapped my shoulder. It was the bar's owner. "Do you want me to call the police?" I shook my head helplessly, my voice so hoarse that it was barely a murmur. "That's my mom." She paused and frowned. "That's really harsh." The owner, seeing my pitiful state, offered to take me home and apply some medicine. I refused. Soon, the wounds on my body began to heal gradually. The owner was stunned, but she still insisted on taking me to the hospital. "The external wounds are healing, but what if there are internal injuries? You were hit so hard just now. I'd feel better if you went to the hospital." Indeed, even people who are strangers to me know that it's reassuring to have injuries checked at a hospital. How could my mother, a doctor, not know this? I declined her kindness and gently thanked her. The lady who runs the bar is a truly kind person. It was she who found me under the bridge after I had been kicked out of my home. She complimented my singing and offered me a spot to perform at her bar. Initially, I was worried about the chaos at the bar, but she protected me from overly friendly patrons and gave me a space where I could sing freely. I had planned to earn money and study simultaneously so that I could pass the college entrance exams and pay for my tuition myself. But now, it seems I won't make it that far. I've never longed for death as I do now. Dying would mean no more beatings. Before my life ends, I want to be reckless just once and do what I desire. Can I perform at the bar every day? The lady chuckled. "Aren't you still a student? Wouldn't your family drag you back if you skipped school?" I also smiled. "No, she won't come looking for me, at least, not until my birthday." True to her word, Sarah never came looking for me. I sang at the bar for 2 months and enjoyed every moment. During that time, a patron praised my singing and asked if I was interested in auditioning for The Voice, promising it could make me a star. I declined. After all, I didn't have much time left. On my 18th birthday, I left the lady's house and wandered alone under the early summer night sky. Throughout the day, I didn't receive a single message from Sarah, not even an insult, but I couldn't give up. With 10 minutes left until midnight, I called her. On the 5th attempt, she finally answered, her voice hoarse and clearly irritated. "What the hell is wrong with you, calling at this ungodly hour?" Ignoring her scolding, I slowly spoke. "Mom, today is my 18th birthday. Could you just wish me a happy birthday?" There was silence on the other end before she exploded. "You have the nerve to ask. You don't even come home for your birthday. Do you even care about having me as your mother?" Her words were harsh, but it was as if I couldn't hear them. I persistently asked again, "Just wish me a happy birthday, that's all I ask." But it was as if she couldn't hear me. "Cindy is having surgery tomorrow. I need to see you at the hospital, or don't you ever bother coming back home." Then, the line went dead. It was a failure, after all. Hearing the cold, busy tone, tears soaked my clothes. As I held up my phone, the midnight bells rang, and I broke into a shattered laugh. "Don't worry, tomorrow, you'll definitely see me." Morning light shone through the window onto Cindy's pale face, radiant like an angel. Beside her was a worried and angry Sarah. Cindy, clutching Sarah's hand, asked anxiously, "Aunt Sarah, will my cousin really come? If she doesn't, am I going to die?" She started to sob softly, a pitiful sight. Sarah held her hand tightly, reassuringly saying, "Don't worry, she has to come, even if she hides. I'll drag her back here. You are my brother's only child, and I will make sure nothing happens to you." Cindy's eyes brightened, and she nodded obediently. "Director Sarah, a patient with a ruptured kidney and severe bleeding needs your immediate attention," he said. "I understand," Sarah replied, Before leaving, she comforted Cindy, "Cindy, wait here for me, I'll replace your kidney after I've attended to the emergency." As she ran to the emergency room, Sarah managed to send a message asking me to hurry back, but I was already lying on the operating table waiting for her. The cold silence of the operating room was broken only by the sound of breathing. Sarah quickly reviewed my test results but did not notice the name in the upper left corner. She had never mentioned me at the hospital, so no one knew who I was. They just thought I was another severely injured patient. Sarah was performing surgery on me while others were contacting my family. Initially, the surgery went smoothly. Sarah precisely located the bleeding point and stopped the bleeding. However, my condition soon began to deteriorate rapidly. Not only had my kidney ruptured, but other organs also started failing quickly. Suddenly, all the machines started emitting a sharp, bursting sound. What's happening? Why are there suddenly so many injuries? Why are all the limbs broken? It's not just the kidney, the liver, spleen, and stomach are all ruptured, too. It seems some ribs are broken and have punctured the lungs. Sarah, increasingly horrified, followed the path of the wounds, pulling open the surgical drapes, only to see bruises everywhere. Suddenly, she thought of something, pulled open my collar, and saw a scratch on my neck. "Mom, they slashed my neck with a knife, Freya. Is it fun to lie to your mom? Look, there's no wound on your neck. If you lie again, I'll really spank you to give you a taste of your own medicine." The boomerangs of many years ago all came back at this moment. Sarah finally realized that I had never lied to her. As her gaze moved upward, her eyes filled with profound fear. When she saw my face, Sarah was shocked and fainted. "Director Sarah, are you all right?" Sarah's colleague asked, his face filled with concern. They must have known that the girl who had just died was her daughter. While her colleagues tried to offer comfort, Sarah suddenly stood up. Without even changing out of her work clothes, she rushed towards my school. Today was the first day of the college entrance exams, and the school was cordoned off with police tape. Ignoring the barriers, Sarah attempted to force her way inside. My homeroom teacher hurried over to stop her. "Freya has her exams today, you can't go in there." Sarah stopped in her tracks, staring intensely at her. "My daughter was bullied at school, and as her homeroom teacher, why didn't you tell me?" The homeroom teacher looked confused. "That's not true at all." Then she remembered. "Are you referring to the incident where Freya falsely accused her classmates of bullying? Wasn't it proven that she was lying? Our students are very friendly and wouldn't bully anyone. If you're worried, let Freya come to school after the exams, and we can sort this out together." This statement infuriated Sarah even more. "She's been beaten to death. What is there to resolve?" The teacher was shocked, disbelieving. How could that be? Freya was always in good health. How could she suddenly die? Could there be some misunderstanding? Sarah froze, her eyes bloodshot and her body trembling with anger, yet she was speechless. The phrase, "I am fine," was one she often used. Because of this, no matter how severe my injuries were, nobody cared. Assuming I was making a big deal out of nothing, now it was Sarah's turn, and no one believed even in the death of her own daughter. The teacher thought it was all a misunderstanding, but this time, Sarah did not doubt me. She insisted on checking the surveillance footage. Given the seriousness of the situation, the homeroom teacher had no choice but to pull up the footage on her work phone. The school surveillance videos were only kept for 6 months, minus the 2 months I wasn't at school. In the remaining 4 months, it was almost daily that I could be seen being bullied, in the cafeteria, on the playground, and even in the classroom. In every inconspicuous place, I was beaten. The homeroom teacher was also shocked. It seemed she truly did not know I was being bullied, as it had never been mentioned in class. Even I never sought help from her because it was pointless. As the footage played, Sarah's frown deepened, and her fists clenched tighter. One part of the footage showed me being buried in the sand of the playground, with only my head exposed and used as a ball. My nasal bone was broken, and blood stained the sand. No one came to rescue me until late at night. The rain washed away the crimson stains, and it was only when I regained consciousness that I crawled back home. But what did Sarah say that day? She scolded me for dirtying my clothes, telling me to wash them myself and that I wouldn't be allowed to eat unless they were clean. Now, those words, like poison-laced boomerangs, deeply pierced her heart, causing her pain. Sarah played the video over and over, as if to punish herself for the countless times she had ignored her own daughter's pleas for help. No matter how many times she watched, she could never fully understand even a fraction of the pain I endured. And there lies my long-dead heart. After replaying it for the 42nd time, the video paused at the moment I was hit. Sarah's eyes twitched suddenly. She saw it. Cindy, hidden behind the crowd, smiling brilliantly. The next second, her phone rang. Cindy's anxious voice came through. "Auntie, have you found my cousin? I can't hold on much longer. Please ask her to come and save me." "Auntie, you finally came." Cindy looked out of the hospital room. "Isn't my cousin with you?" Sarah didn't answer but slowly walked up to her bed. Abruptly, she raised her hand and slapped Cindy across the face. Stunned, Cindy covered her face, her eyes filled with confusion. "Auntie, why did you hit me? You've never hit me before." Sarah's face flushed with anger as she glared fiercely at her. "Why did you harm Freya? She's your cousin. How could you hurt her so badly?" Cindy was taken aback. Clutching her hand, looking utterly wronged. "No, I didn't harm cousin. Did she tell you something?" "Auntie, you can't believe what she says. Remember how she lied to you last time and embarrassed you at school?" Sarah jerked her hand away from Cindy. "No more excuses. I saw everything. When Freya was being bullied at school, you were laughing behind her back. Why didn't you help her?" Cindy's eyes shifted rapidly, already guessing the truth. Tears as big as beans fell swiftly, like pearls off a string. "Auntie, I couldn't do anything. If I had stepped in to help her, I would have been the one getting bullied. You always say she's strong as an ox and nothing will happen to her, but I'm not like that. I'm weak. They could kill me," she said in a thin, fearful voice, her face filled with dread and humility. Looking at this face so similar to her own, Sarah gritted her teeth and slowly said, "Freya is dead." Cindy was shocked, her pupils dilating suddenly. How could that be? Wasn't my cousin just messing around in a bar recently? She was singing at the bar, not messing around, Sarah said emotionally, raising her hand high toward Cindy's face. Cindy didn't dodge. Instead, she hugged her, crying bitterly. "Auntie, my cousin is gone, and if I die too, you'll have no family left." Sarah froze, her sharp gaze turning sorrowful. Her raised hand fell powerless, settling into silence. "After my death, the hospital conducted a thorough assessment of my injuries and delivered the report to Sarah. There was hardly a bone in my body that was intact, with multiple fractures and severe internal organ ruptures that not even God could mend. My colleagues gathered around Sarah, fearing she might not withstand the shock. This time, Sarah seemed much stronger than expected. Clenching the report in her fist so tightly that her nails dug into her skin, she did not utter a single moan. The doctor who had sent her to the emergency room came over to apologize. "Director Sarah, I'm sorry. If I had known she was your daughter, I would never have asked you to perform the surgery." How ridiculous it was. In the entire hospital, no one knew I was Sarah's daughter. Before that, everyone thought Cindy was. During Cindy's hospital stay, people often remarked, "You and your daughter look so much alike." They both heard it, yet nobody corrected them. Letting Sarah witness my shattered body was her just desserts. I had no interest in watching her regrets, so I urged the system to take me away. The system said, "Hold on, you died such a tragic death. I'm trying to secure some benefits for you." "How much longer?" the system joked. "Looks like you've really given up, not even asking about the benefits." "Don't worry, don't you want to see your cousin get what she deserves?" I scoffed. My mom forgave her. What consequences could there be? Last time in the hospital room, when Sarah let go of my hand, I knew Cindy had persuaded her once again. To her, I, her biological daughter, mattered less than a surname. "Don't worry, I've arranged everything." Somehow, her words seemed almost gleeful. Sarah was indeed a dedicated doctor. She remained at her post even after the death of her daughter. From the time I left the operating room to the moment I was wheeled into the morgue, she never came to see me. It was as if she had already forgotten my death and was focused solely on saving Cindy's life. I mocked the system. "What's the plan? Look, she doesn't care about me at all. Just let me go." The system insisted. "Just wait." That afternoon, someone came to see Sarah. It was Monica, the bar owner. She had come to deliver my belongings to Sarah. But what belongings did I have? Monica handed Sarah a stack of money and an envelope. "I couldn't reach Freya, and I couldn't keep these things. You're her mother after all, so I had to give them to you." The money was what I had earned singing at the bar, a total of 60 bills. Sarah took the money without hesitation, but she hesitated over the envelope. Suddenly, she stared intently at Monica and accused, "Did you kill my daughter?" Monica frowned. She didn't know I was dead yet, but she quickly caught on. No wonder she left so abruptly that day. After a sigh, Monica's expression darkened. Her voice was low and trembling, filled with undeniable anger. "How dare you say that? You beat your daughter so harshly. If I hadn't taken her in, she would have died long ago. You blindly accuse her. Do you not know why she sought death?" Monica thought Sarah had driven me to suicide. She threw the envelope at Sarah's face, furiously accusing her of being unfit to be my mother. "Freya even wrote you a letter. Just read it for yourself," she said before storming off without giving Sarah any chance to explain. I watched the envelope on the ground, feeling estranged. Despite Monica's accusations, Sarah remained eerily calm. She calmly squatted down and picked up the envelope, which contained lyrics I had composed in my mind just before dying. "Captured by the system, the birthday candle flickers alone in the corner. The words on the cake silently speak of loneliness. I once thought someone cared about me, only to realize today that I was merely a passerby on my birthday. I died because no one wished me a happy birthday." These last words were repeated 5 times, echoing the phone call I made that day, which took 5 tries before it was answered. Suddenly, Sarah remembered something and checked her phone's call log. May 19th, 11:50 p.m. Caller, daughter, "Mom, it's my 18th birthday today. Can you wish me a happy birthday? Just wish me a happy birthday. That's all I need." Tears breached the dams of Sarah's eyes. She clutched the piece of paper tightly, squatting on the ground, mumbling something incoherently, as if possessed. Before her grief could extend further, a young nurse hurried over. "Director Sarah, there's something mysterious about Freya's death." Sarah immediately stood up, looking anxiously at her. The nurse's voice trembled. "The forensic scientist said she has been dead for 2 years." Sarah was stunned, due to my severe injuries. The hospital reported the incident to the police with Sarah's consent. As the investigation deepened, the cause of my death became increasingly mysterious. Sarah held the report, recognizing every word on it, yet pieced together, it formed segments of an incomprehensible past. It was determined that I had died from a car accident 2 years ago. At the time of the accident, there were 2 people in the car besides the driver. One was unconscious and the other called for help. The unconscious one was Cindy, and the one who called was me. Cindy received immediate medical attention, but I never went to the hospital. Witnesses saw me collapsing at the school entrance, bleeding from my ears, nose, and mouth. However, not long after, I surprisingly stood up and walked into the school unharmed. Sarah listened quietly to the police narration, her expression as blank as an emotionless machine. The driver responsible for the accident arrived, frightened by the sudden death of his passenger from 2 years ago. He confessed everything about that day. It seemed like 2 sisters. The younger one was late, and the older one took my car in a hurry to avoid being late. Along the way, the younger sister complained of stomach pain, crying and insisting on going to the hospital, which led me to turn around and crash into a truck. The older sister was incredible, protecting her sister immediately and even getting out of the car to call for help as if nothing had happened. Who would have thought she would die? Sarah was shocked and grabbed the driver's arm, shaking it violently, convinced that he was responsible for my death. Terrified, the driver desperately explained, "It wasn't my fault. I was dizzy myself. As for why she didn't go to the hospital, I don't know either." Sarah let go of his arm. She knew it was she who had forced me onto the path that led to my death. Her hands trembled slightly, as if being slowly eroded by past agonies. "It was me. I killed her. It was me." Sarah lost her mind, repeating this over and over. Then, with a piercing scream, she repeatedly banged her head against the wall. Like an uncontrollable, frenzied beast, she struck again and again, the impacts echoing. But what good would that do? It was already too late. The hospital room at midnight was especially eerie. Sarah stood emotionlessly at the door, like a zombie from a horror movie. Cindy, groggy from sleep, was startled when she saw her. "Auntie, why are you here?" Cindy extended her hand with an drip, feigning sorrow. "Since my cousin is gone, is there no hope for me either? Why did she have to go like that, not even willing to stay another day?" This was a tactic Cindy often used. exploiting her weakness to garner sympathy from Sarah, while casting me in the role of the undutiful one. But this time, it didn't work. Sarah's gaze was icy as she walked straight towards her and slapped her. It wasn't the first time Sarah had hit Cindy, but this time there was no rage, only a rigid expression devoid of any emotional fluctuation. Cindy, jolted awake, widened her eyes and questioned, "What now? Didn't I explain everything about the school?" Another slap landed on her other cheek. Sarah's voice was eerily indifferent. "You had them beat up Freya at the bar, didn't you?" Cindy denied it. "I didn't." The third slap drew blood from Cindy's mouth. "That day at the bar, you poured your own drink. Freya wouldn't let you drink, and then you slandered her, right?" Sarah spoke calmly, yet she meticulously listed Cindy's misdeeds. Cindy panicked but dared not admit to anything. A fourth slap sent her tumbling onto the bed, unable to lie anymore. Cindy could only cry and beg for forgiveness. However, no matter what she said, Sarah did not cease her accusations that day. "You lied about having a stomach ache because you were afraid of being late and getting scolded by the teacher, which made the driver turn back to the hospital, and that caused Freya's accident, right?" Cindy was shocked. This time, she offered no excuses and no pleas for mercy, letting Sarah vent her anger on her. "I doted on you so much, yet what have you done? What did Freya ever do to deserve such cruelty from you?" The hospital room was filled with Sarah's yelling and Cindy's cries. As she cried, Cindy suddenly laughed, wiping away her dry tears. She lifted her swollen face and for the first time in front of Sarah, she showed contempt. She retorted, "Aunt, do you think I caused my cousin's death?" Cindy looked at her, her smile seemingly innocent yet laced with venom. "Isn't it because you neglected her health that she died? I hated her and wanted to drive her out to have this family to myself. But without your indulgence, how could I have succeeded? Aunt, we're family. And we are very much alike in nature. You say I am cruel, but you were even crueler to my cousin. After all, you're her mother." Sarah stared blankly at Cindy, at a face that resembled hers by a fraction. After a long while, she raised her hand, which had inflicted countless scars on my face, and frantically began hitting her own face. Suddenly, she lifted her battered face, with blood on the corner of her mouth, and looking up at the high space where I was, she trembled and said, "I'm sorry." Side story, my name is Freya. My mother runs a bar. She always said that I was a natural singer and destined to be a star. Inspired by her, at 18, I won a singing competition. Holding the trophy, I hurried home to share the joy with her. Just as I reached the entrance of my neighborhood, someone called out my name, "Freya." I turned around. It was an elderly lady with white hair, her eyes filled with confusion and delight. She looked at me and exclaimed, "Freya, it really is you. You've finally come back." She suddenly stood up and rushed towards me, embracing me tightly. I was so startled that I froze. She kept repeating my name, crying and begging for my forgiveness. "It was all my fault. I'm sorry, my dear. Can you forgive your mom? Don't worry, I've avenged those who hurt you. No one will bully you again. Freya, please come back. I've missed you so much." Her withered hands gently caressed me, as if trying to merge me into her being. I didn't recognize her at all. Yet she knew my name. As I struggled to break free, several people in white coats rushed over and forcibly pulled the old lady off me. They calmed her down and administered a sedative. Once she was quiet, they apologized to me. "I'm sorry, she's a patient from our hospital. She's usually very compliant, but somehow she snapped today and escaped, frightening you in the process." I breathed a sigh of relief and looked towards the old lady from a distance. She had calmed down and was being lifted into a van marked Psychiatric Hospital Service vehicle. At the entrance of the neighborhood, there were remnants of burned paper money. The security guard explained that she was a convicted murderer who had killed her own niece and injured a high school student, spending many years in prison. Since her release, her mind hadn't been right. She roamed around looking for her daughter and was eventually institutionalized. Every year on May 19th, she would come to the neighborhood entrance to burn paper money as a ritual for her daughter, who also happened to be named Freya. I glanced at myself and then back at the van, confirming I had never seen her before. Just then, the van's window rolled down. The old lady leaned out, smiling tenderly at me and said, "Freya, happy birthday." I frowned. My birthday was tomorrow. That's all about this story. Do you have any insights after watching the above story? Feel free to tell us in the comment sections below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe my channel please. See you next time.